The game of choice is simple but fun. Robot punching, goblin stomping, relic hunting fun. I'm Heracross Gaming, and this is my review of Knack. Now believe it or not, this was actually my first game for the PlayStation 4 alongside infamous Second Son. I may review that game someday, but that's for another time. You guys know I love platformers, right? And although very linear, I think it still holds up. Released as a sort of launch title tech demo exclusively for the PlayStation 4 in 2013, sort of a way of showing off its technical capabilities, much in the same way that Super Mario World was for the SNES or Super Mario Sunshine was for the Nintendo GameCube. You play as Knack, a creature revived from ancient relics found by the Doctor/Professor, who is still at a loss since losing his wife. It's a simple good guys are actually bad guys but don't really hide the fact they're bad guys, which is fronted by a rather uninteresting leader in Victor, armed with a K in his name, as well as evil facial hair with a rather generic sidekick in Katrina. There are only 4 bosses in the entire game. Yep, 4 bosses. But they are spread out over several chapters, which is chapter 3, 7, 11, and 13. You have Chieftain, a rather nasty goblin who is armed with smaller goblins, as well as a large robot mech. Gundahar, another goblin who's formed a rather short-lived alliance with the enemy Victor, and utilizes speed in a pretty cool rooftop showdown. Katrina, Victor's right-hand woman who actually gets the advantage, striking Knack with a poison-type corruption blast that causes Knack to lose health over time. A pretty cool mechanic that evokes a sense of desperation in the player. And finally we have the Last Guardian. Yep, that's his name as far as I'm aware. Defeat him and it's curtains. Cut to the end credits, break out the champagne and the hookers.
He's red bad.
By collecting relics and gems, Knack is able to change state, not just from a smaller Knack to a bigger version of himself, but he can also change forms, which include a solar form, a diamond form, a brittle icicle form, and a vampire form? Yep, by collecting blood gems, you can play as the vampire version of Knack. Okay, I'll take it. Now, here's one of the major problems I had with the game that does relate to the relics. Once you've cleared the main game, you unlock a chapter select which they placed under special features. Okay, time out here, I'm sorry, but you can't put a level select as a feature. It's a core staple in almost every platformer. Plus, if you replay the levels, you can't gather any new relics or gadgets, as you have to play through the story from the beginning again and search for them that way. And also, as there's no display where the relics are before you start the level, you're pretty much running through the game aimlessly until you find a hidden room, relic or gadget piece. Talk about squeezing the penny. It's a British saying, God save our grace. The game plays out just as you might expect, get from point A to point B, whilst taking out the enemies and finding gems and power-ups on the way. As a supposed tech demo, I think it works really well, although I will admit the gameplay time is woefully short in comparison to other platformers, but as it costs less, I think this is fine considering its story. A fun smash fest that I really did enjoy, as did my friends who played it. A true staple if you're a fan of platformers, or even the LEGO series as it plays similar to those. A little on the easy side, but a fun experience I could recommend to any and all gamers.
Think Knack can do it?
We'll see now, won't we?